What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Well, welcome into another episode of My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Sleazebomb. Today, we are going to be going over my wide receiver top 36 tiers for week 1. If you want to check out my running backs and quarterbacks, those videos are up before. As always, guys, before we dive into it, make sure you tap that thumbs up, hit that subscription button. All the support's appreciated. If you guys have any comments at all, drop them in there. It does not have to pertain to this video. I try to answer every single one of them for you guys. As well, the Guys FF Premium Discord will be linked in the comments. It'll be in the description. Me and my partner, Big Draft Energy, we cover everything Dynasty, all player values, trade talk, draft for you. Big Draft Energy's best ball draft guide is there as well. Roster reviews, trades to make, everything to help you guys dominate all year long. And we got to shout out the sponsor, Drafters Fantasy Sports. If you guys have not signed up, make sure you use promo code SLEAZE. It'll match your deposit up to $100. Best ball draft still going for a couple more days here. They'll do a midway best ball draft as well. You can do DFS drafts daily with us also in that category. And the pick'ems, we drop those in the Discord as well, guys. Now let's dive in to my top 36 wide receiver rankings for week 1. So if you guys are new to the channel, this is my wide receiver ranking board. Baller tier at the top, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. We're going to crank out all 36 here. In my camera box here, you're going to see Rashee Rice, obviously suspended till game 7. You got Jordan Addison out for suspended for 3 games with his DUI. Brandon Ayuk on IR, looks like a week 6 possible return for him. We'll keep that updated through every video as we go. And at the top left, you're going to see that I do not have Terry McLaurin in my top 36 this week, and we will get to that when I talk about Deebo Samuel here. Now, when we're looking at these rankings here as well, we don't have a lot of defensive information. We could use 2024, but there's a lot of things that have changed schematically, draft, everything like that. So these are my rankings based on pretty much last year's defense for what they've added and how I think the game script's going to go and the situation in the games for them right now. Now, whenever there's one wide receiver and there's 2 on each team, I'll talk about both of them at the same time. At number 1, it is going to be your Triple Crown winner, Jamar Chase. I am going to have T. Higgins at number 13 as well. You're playing the Cleveland Browns. You're on the road. The Bengals defense, we all know, I've talked about this multiple times. I'm probably going to have to repeat it every single time. Their defense is not going to be able to stop much. And when you invest all this money into the offense, you expect these guys to shine. T. Higgins just needs to stay healthy and get out of his mental game, and he'll be an absolute nightmare. This offense is going to be damn near impossible to stop, especially with Chase Brown at running back. Now, when you're looking at this game, they currently, sorry, my throat is just killing me over these videos. Sorry about that. My 47.5 is the over-under. Cincinnati's favored by 4.5 here. I mean, the Bengals probably could score 35, 40 of those points by themselves. I think the Bengals are absolutely going to come out and roll them over. I hope they don't have another Bengals slow start for fantasy football purposes. Please. Now, heading down to wide receiver 2 here. The only guy in my mind that can catch Jamar Chase this season, just based on the situation they have at hand, which is pretty much the same thing as the Cincinnati Bengals, is CeeDee Lamb. And we're going to talk about George Pickens down here at number 31 as well. So now, CeeDee Lamb, they're going to get the Philadelphia Eagles. In this matchup, it couldn't be worse, right? You get Quinyon Mitchell, you get Cooper DeJean, 2 of the top corners in the league. The Eagles front is going to get after the Cowboys. But what you have to look at, the Cowboys aren't going to have much of a run game, right? The over-under is 47.5, just like the Bengals game. You're going to have Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Jadon Blue possibly sprinkles in here, another rookie out of Texas. Hopefully we get to see him. We know that run game is not going to thrive here. So what are they going to have to lean on? They're going to have to lean on the pass game. So CeeDee Lamb is my wide receiver 2. He's never had a wide receiver 2 around him like George Pickens to take any of the defense away, and CeeDee Lamb still thrives. I think CeeDee Lamb is going to go absolutely nuclear this year. And the 1 and 2 right here are my 1 and 2 on the season. I love CeeDee Lamb this year to absolutely explode, but it is going to come down to Dak Prescott's health. Number 3 is going to be Nico Collins. They get the LA Rams, and this is, again, all 3 of these situations for these teams, right? Bengals, Cowboys, Texans, right? The Texans do have a good defense compared to the other two, so you can exit that out. But what the Texans don't have is a run game, period. Nick Chubb will be leading the way with Joe Mixon on IR. The Texans' offensive line ranks 32nd, dead last. Didn't do much help there in the offseason to make it better. Could it be a little improved? We hope so. What are they going to have to do? They're going to have to pass heavy to beat teams, which is why I like C.J. Stroud for a bounce-back year, which is why I love Nico Collins as my wide receiver 3. These are my 1, 2, 3 on the season right here. And when I'm looking at this game, they've added all these weapons for a reason because they can't manufacture the run. They add Jaden Higgins. They add Jalen Noel. They go and sign or trade for Christian Kirk as well in the offseason, giving C.J. Stroud tons of weapons. This is going to open it up even more for Nico Collins, who was averaging 22 points a game as wide receiver 2 overall until he got hurt last year. The man's separation is on a different planet. I even talked bad about him last year. I got to stop that. Nico Collins is absolutely him. Number 4 is going to be Justin Jefferson. Again, we're going to have Jordan Addison down as well. He is going to be going up against Johnson, a very tough cornerback, but it does not matter for Justin Jefferson here. We're hoping that the J.J. McCarthy connection can light it up right away on Monday Night Football. You are going to have Adam Thielen out there as well back in his first Minnesota Vikings game. For some reason, I have this feeling that Adam Thielen is going to get a touchdown or something just because his first game back in Minnesota. But when we're talking about Justin Jefferson, you're obviously keeping this guy in your lineup regardless because you paid the premium of the first-round pick to get him. Number 5, it's time to get hectic, baby. And this is one of the bold calls I'm making of the week. Tyreek Hill back at practice today. Couple things to talk about here, though. So I also have Jalen Waddle down here at 26, so I like Jalen Waddle a lot. I've been targeting him heavy this year just because we don't know how the Tyreek Hill situation is going to play out in Miami. But what we have to look at is Miami's run game is probably going to be pretty bad again. They're going to have to lead on the Mike McDaniel scheme of the pass game. Will Darren Waller emerge at tight end there to take a couple targets away? We'll see how that plays out. But you get the Indianapolis Colts, and this is a juicy fantasy football game out the gates. It's like my second favorite game to go along with the Panthers-Jaguars. We'll get to that game here in a second. But when I'm looking at this game, your over-under is 47.5, just like the rest of the games we talked about. Going to be a high-scoring affair here. And they're not going to be able to run the ball. And what did they just do? They just stripped Tyreek Hill of his captain for the first time since joining the Dolphins in 2022. That is going to light a fire in this guy. I feel like he's been underdrafted all year long. I know there's tons of red flags, but if he can pull it together, he is one guy that can win a week for you weekly, and this matchup is just too damn good to ignore. Number 6, it's finally time, baby. We finally get to see Drake London. The breakout is, I don't even know if you say breakout. He's going to have a monster year. You saw in a small 3-game sample size down the stretch last year where Drake London dominated fantasy football, led them in utilized air yards, led them in the entire NFL in targets. I think he was wide receiver 2 overall down the stretch. Darnell Mooney's still kind of banged up. You got Kyle Pitts out there. They did lose their blindside right tackle, McGarry for the season, which hurts them because Michael Penix is lefty, so it is his blindside. But Drake London, man, he's just going to get so many targets. Volume is king. You saw the offseason. He looks great. Big body, red zone. Tampa Bay, is their strength is versus the run, not versus the pass. You have to love Drake London this week. Number 7, Malik Neighbors. And I know the Washington Commanders' corners and secondary is not that great. I just have him at number 7 because we've just had one of these weird off seasons of toe injury. He's going to need toe surgery. His back's been tight. This man is absolutely electric when he's out there. And the targets around him, Wan'Dale Robinson, he was top 10 in targets last year as well. But that's not a Malik Neighbors. Theo Johnson at tight end. Could he emerge? Yeah, possibly. Jalen Hyatt, the hype is there. It's always Malik Neighbors by a mile. I'm just a little lower because it's been one of those weird off seasons. Obviously, game 1, he comes out and thrives. He's going to go right back up for me. I just have him at number 7 right now, just purely based on how the off season has gone. Number 8 is going to be BTJ in such a juicy matchup here. We're also going to talk about Travis Hunter, who, by the way, for everyone that commented all the mean comments and all the nonsense on Twitter of he's a cornerback, just official Jaguars depth chart was just released. Travis Hunter is a starting wide receiver on the depth chart and a backup cornerback on the depth chart. Now, you get the Carolina Panthers here. The matchup couldn't be better, right? I told you I've been targeting this the whole time. The over-under is 46.5. And it's like this game is going to just be 60 points in my mind, or it's going to be a dud for some reason. And in my mind, I think it's going to be 60 plus points. I'm targeting this game heavy. I see Liam Cohen, coming into the system here. Now you got Travis Hunter playing the Chris Godwin role. BTJ is going to feast. You got Brenton Strange, ETN, the run game. And then the other side, you got the same kind of situation with Dave Canales. So, I mean, I'm in love with this game across the board. You're starting both these guys. I mean, you could say Travis Hunter flex or not if you want. You could be scared of defense. That is not me. I have Travis Hunter at 34, though, coming into the week here. Number 9, Mike Evans. Big Mike is going to get the Atlanta Falcons this week. We talked about it a little bit here, but I got to find Emeka Egbuka as well. I have him at number 30 here. And Egbuka has a very, very good slot matchup in this game. I still think the touchdown upside is going to lean to Mike Evans. And it's like, you're going to doubt this guy again that's going to put up 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. I know that he's almost 32 years old, right at the cutoff for, the decline for wide receivers. But the offseason hit him perfect. I mean, Chris Godwin on IR. I forgot to put his picture up there as well. Chris Godwin is on IR. He will be back week 4, week 6. They took him off IR. Then they said he's going to be out till week 6, which is weird. I don't understand what they're doing there. And then Jalen McMillan had that crazy neck injury, man. He's out till week 10, could be the season. So Mike Evans, just by default, is going to get massive, massive volume and be probably a top 10 pick for me until they get back, because he has the connection with Baker Mayfield, and Baker loves to sling it here. And Emeka Egbuka is someone you should be thinking about flexing as well, because his matchup is going to be very, very good this week. Number 10, finally we get the news. Matt Stafford is good to go. Number 17 is going to be Devontae Adams for me as well. You are going to get the Houston Texans here in this game. And 100% that this is going to be Kyren, Devontae, and Puka Nacua all year long as they're healthy. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to talk about Tyler Higbee or Terrence Ferguson or, Little Witt, Jordan Whittington, or Tutu Atwell. This is their star-studded 3 guys. That I have the Rams as my Super Bowl pick in the NFC. The Texans' defense, their strength is the run. Their weakness is the pass. This is where Nacua and Adams are going to thrive. And I've been targeting Adams in drafts later at value for a reason, because I'm just a Devontae Adams diehard fan, man. You could say Fresno State because I'm from Fresno. It could be biased, but he's one of the best route runners I've ever watched, and there's no better tutelage that Puka Nacua could be getting. Number 11, and this one's kind of scary here. I'm going to put A.J. Brown up here, and I'm also going to grab Devonta Smith here at 33. Now, you do get the Cowboys, and they got, the gift from the Packers that just said, here, we're going to take Micah Parsons, the monster pass rusher that we have to game plan for, probably one of the 3, maybe you could name 4 defenders that OCs have to game plan for, and Micah Parsons is definitely one of them. The only thing I'm afraid of in this game is how good is the Philly defense going to bash the Cowboys? Is the game going to stay close, or is it going to be a Saquon Barkley runaway where the pass attempts that the Eagles last year were dead last in? So, yeah, I get that they're ADP and they're big names and they're drafted high, but if they don't score early, I'm going to be really afraid of A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. But, I'm still going to put them up here in this game just because it's a big division game, and I cannot wait for this kickoff to get here. Coming down to number 14 here. And this one's tough for me still. I mean, Ladd McConkey absolutely killed it last year, but the Harbaugh system is the run. And the run last year was decimated by injuries where J.K. Dobbins went down, Gus Edwards went down, and they became a pass-heavy team. Like, Herbert doesn't average a lot of pass attempts, definitely not in the Harbaugh scheme. And what do? They go and they get a stud right tackle in Becton. They already have Alt out there. They go get Najee Harris, and they draft Omarion Hampton. So you can tell right now what the Chargers want to do football-wise is pound the rock, control the clock, keep the other teams off the field. That's how you beat the Chiefs, man. They know this. This is the script they need. So, yeah, I still like Ladd McConkey to see, 8 to 10 targets a game. It's just how many attempts are really going to be there. They get the Chiefs in this game. The Chiefs' strength is versus the run as well. They do got a couple good corners out there as well. And McConkey, now you got Keenan Allen too that's going to feed into his targets. He has a connection with Herbert. I'm just a little lower on Ladd McConkey based on the situation and how things trending. Number 15, Jackson Smith and Jigba, who is going to become the alpha here this year. I know Cooper Kupp is there. I really, if you followed me last year, Cooper Kupp was like my target. He burned me really bad with the injury, and he was just never the same. Now, when you're looking at the new Clint Kubiak system they're bringing in, it's looked run heavy in the preseason. It's not going to be the same against the 49ers front. You got Robert Saleh. They got Fred Warner. They know this. They see him 2 times a year. They're going to have to open up the pass game here at some point. And Jay Season is going to be the number 1 focal point target. And I think he's been undervalued massively. I think he's going to splash here in week 1. And I would even bet on the anytime touchdown for him in week 1. Number 16. Marvin Harrison Jr. Can he do it? Is this connection that all the updates have shown you that him and Kyler Murray got a better connection and he's added all this muscle and he's going to explode? I hope so. You got the Saints here in week 1. There couldn't be a better matchup for a get-right Cardinals game right here. I mean, you got Trey McBride as well, who's, in my opinion, the focal point of the offense. James Conner's going to feast if you watch my running back video before. I'm going to put him here 1 time. This is like, I'm low on Marvin Harrison if I don't see it early here. So I thought his ADP was too inflated again, but the man is obviously super talented. It was his rookie year. I'm not giving up any hope yet. I just don't have a lot of faith in Kyler Murray, even though I rank Kyler Murray really high this week. This is like the game for the Cardinals to go off and then get all the fantasy hype back, right? Because the Saints are going to struggle offensively. That's just a known fact. So, I mean, I'm going to put Marvin Harrison at 16, but I am really, really worried about Marvin if he doesn't pop off in this game. Number 18 is my favorite one, but hang on. I accidentally skipped number 12 here on accident. Sorry, guys. Let's bounce back here. Number 12, Tet Orowa McMillan, the 6'5" stud out of Arizona. And he gets another gift here in the offseason as well. Not only the fact that you have Dave Canales, you're in the second-year system with Bryce Young. You saw Bryce Young get benched last year for Andy Dalton, and then you saw Bryce Young be quarterback 8 down the stretch and how he looked. Now you give him this weapon. Jalen Coker was going to be another breakout guy, but he goes down on IR. They bring in Hunter Renfrow, probably meaning even more targets for Tet. You get the Panthers in a game where I think 60 points is going to fly. I absolutely love Tet McMillan. I've been drafting him with above ADP every single draft. Absolute stud. I cannot wait to see him out there on the field. I don't really think Xavier Legette, they've showed a couple routes of him. Could he? Yeah, it's the Tet McMillan show 100% for me for the Panthers. Number 18, this is going to be one of my favorite plays of the week. In my Smash Start video, I'll break down a ton of stats of why on this, but Jerry Jeudy getting Joe Flacco is going to help him even more. Now, David Njoku, of course, he's going to see a ton of targets with him. Could you see Cedric Tillman out there get some splash plays? You could. But what you have to look at is you're playing the Bengals. The Bengals defense, guys, is atrocious besides, Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart, right? We don't even know if their rookie pick is really that good yet because you haven't seen much from them. It's just hype in the first round, which that happens in football, right? I've seen tons of first-round picks not be good, so let's be honest. Now, what's the game script for the Browns all year long? This is why everyone was down on Jerry Jeudy, and I'm like, oh, my God, what are we talking about here? The game script for them is going to be 90% pass. They're not going to be leading in many games. They're not going to be pounding the clock out. Like, say the Bengals score right away. When do the Browns ever get the lead in this game again, right? Or on the season if they get scored on first. Volume is king in fantasy football. The passing attempts are going to be in massive bunches for the Browns, and Jerry Jeudy is absolutely going to feast, and I have him at wide receiver 18. That is the end of my tier 2. Heading down to tier 3 here. Xavier Worthy. Now, I know he's never had a 100-yard game in his career. I know that his numbers have dipped since high school, if you want to look at all of that for Xavier Worthy. But he does get Rashee Rice out of town. I do think the Chargers will focus on Travis Kelce. They've played against him for 10-plus years. They know 2 times a year, and even some playoff games. They know this guy like the back of their hand. They're going to have to scheme up some gadget plays. Andy Reid knows this. Hopefully, Xavier Worthy, I'm not as high on him as most people, but hopefully he can have a big game here. Just with the situation, I'm putting him up to 19. You also have Hollywood Brown kind of banged up, but he could be out there. Juju Smith-Schuster, we know what he is. Jalen Royals is not making it looks like, for game 1 either. So, by default, Xavier Worthy is getting raised up for me. Here we go. Let's start the argument, boys. Number 20 for me is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown in week 1. I am going lower points on him. I know there's going to be comments here. Amon-Ra at 20. Oh my God, why do you have him so low? There's so many factors to this why I have him so low. So you have to look at the situation of now they get new head coach. Ben Johnson is gone. Micah Parsons may be out there for the Cowboys too. The offensive line for the Lions is missing. Ragnar retires. Zeitler is gone to the Titans. Taylor Decker, the left tackle, may not be out there week 1 either. This pass rush of Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons is going to get after them. You saw the coach speak index and everyone hype up Jamison Williams. His ADP shot up to the 4th round. They trade 3 third-round picks for Isaac Tesla. He has a monster preseason. You have Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. It's just one of these gut feelings that I haven't touched Amon-Ra in drafts at his ADP, and this is gut call feeling. I know Amon-Ra has been a top 7 wide receiver back-to-back years. I know all of this. I just do not think that Amon-Ra is going to have the same volume share. I do not think it's going to be the same season for him. I think Ben Johnson being gone to the Bears is really going to hurt him a ton. Number 21 is going to be Matthew Golden. Just depth charted the wide receiver 1 for the Green Bay Packers, and you get the Detroit Lions. Now, could this be a shootout game? Possibly. If it's a shootout game, then the Amon-Ra call may go bad here. I don't think it's going to be a shootout game. I think the Packers are going to mop the floor with the Detroit Lions in the first week. I think it's going to be a wake-up call for them. But, and I love Golden, but it's like this thing, like the Green Bay Packers love to spread the ball around. Now, you're going to have Jaden Reed out there playing with his foot injury throughout the year. I hope you avoided him in drafts. Romeo Doubs, he was from a cut candidate to all of a sudden he's the wide receiver 2 on the team. You still got Josh Jacobs. Tucker Kraft I love for a monster breakout. Jordan Love doesn't hyper-focus one guy. Could Golden hit a bomb here? Of course. He's electric, breakout, great yak guy, all of that. But I just want to see the volume first in a couple games here before I start bumping him up. To as much as I love him, I just can't do it right away. You got to be at least logical at some point with it. Number 22 is going to be Courtland Sutton. Now, I know Courtland Sutton killed it last year with Bo Nix. And Bo Nix and the Broncos get better. They're going to be very scary. Their defense is going to give them the ball at will. They're probably the number 1 defense in my opinion. You could argue any of the top 3 if you wanted to. Their offensive line is great. And you get Cam Ward and the Titans. You know Snead's out there. He's one of the lockdown corners as well. But when you're playing the Titans and Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick's first game at Mile High Stadium, this could be a game where, like, if Courtland Sutton doesn't get a touchdown the first, 14 points they score, it could get out of hand real quick and just become R.J. Harvey, J.K. Dobbins kind of run game show here and just control the clock and get out with the win, which is what I think is going to happen. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring of a game on the Tennessee Titans side at all. I could see, the Broncos putting up 25, 30 points in the game just because they're going to be a better offense with Sean Payton. But I also think when you have the joker role of Evan Ingram coming in, which is why they went and got him, Sean Payton hasn't had a tight end like this since Jimmy Graham. So I truly believe that Evan Ingram's going to lead them in targets this year. I know that Courtland Sutton's that wide receiver too that's just not sexy, but you start him anyways. I get that. But I'm going to put him lower this week just because the matchup. I don't think the Broncos are going to need to score that much. Oh, number 22 and number 23 we'll talk about together. It's the same matchup. I have Garrett Wilson at 23 and DK Metcalf at 24. Now, the Giants are playing the Jets. And if you've been watching any of my videos before, I've been talking about how much I just do not like this matchup. I think it's going to be a grunge match. Vegas has it as the lowest scoring game of the week, as would I. And these guys are both in the same situation. You got DK Metcalf, you got Garrett Wilson, not a lot of weapons around them. You got Mason Taylor, the rookie for the Jets, Alan Lazard, Josh Reynolds, Arian Smith on the Jets side. On the Steelers side, you got Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin, Pat Fryman, Jonnu Smith. These guys should both be the massive focal point targets, but you got to look at it this way too. You also got Sauce Gardner out there, and then you also got 3 nasty corners from the Steelers. The game, to me, is going to live in a ground and pound, ugly run game here. As much as I love Garrett Wilson this year, this is just not a Garrett Wilson week for me. I mean, you can still flex him or wide receiver 2 if you need to. You just got to hope that he finds pay dirt here in a very, very tough matchup versus Steeler defense. And it's the same thing for DK Metcalf. Number 25 is going to be Chris Olave, the darling that no one drafted because of concussions, and what is not realized by people that play fantasy football with Chris Olave. Yeah, you take the injury risk on. It's called risk reward. Every player can get hurt. This is known fact in football. But you got Kellen Moore now. You saw the preseason. You saw how they schemed him up in the slot back to Ohio State days, which is where he thrives even more. And what you have to realize is it's the same kind of situation as Jerry Jeudy. You're playing the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not saying the Cardinals are going to be some playoff team or anything like that, but they're probably going to play 90% of their games from behind. Volume is king in fantasy football. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, these were some of my favorite targets in best ball, some of my favorite targets in draft, because they're going to be passing like crazy either way, no matter who the quarterback is. Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, Jake Hayner, however it plays out for the season, they're probably playing for a quarterback next year anyways. But they are going to be passing a ton, and that is what you want in fantasy football. Number 27, Slick Rick Pearsall. You see on the left there, Brandon Ayuk in my boxes. He's going to be out till week 6. It looks like Juan Jennings is going to be back week 1 with the calf issue. He practiced yesterday. I didn't even see that update coming. They said he went from a grade 1 strain to a grade 4 strain. Then all of a sudden he's back at practice. A little weird there, in my opinion. But Ricky Pearsall, they just updated, is going to be the wide receiver 1 for the first couple weeks of the season here. And you saw him explode down the stretch. He won best ball championships down the stretch last year. He can do it. Got a connection with Brock Purdy. But Seattle's strength is the secondary. I know they're good on the outside. The slot is probably where, Ricky Pearsall will thrive in this game. But I had Juan Jennings as my wide receiver 1 before the injury. So that kind of derailed, how I was looking at my Niners offense here. I mean, Ricky Pearsall is still definitely a start. It's just, I don't know how it's going to look now that Juan is back out there. That Kittle's going to feast every time he's out there. So I have Pearsall with a little, at 27, could he pop higher? 100% for sure he could. Here we go. And I've been saying this all year long. So DJ Moore at 28, Rome Odunze at 36. Could these guys, either one of them, pop up the board into the top 15 with a big game? Of course, for sure they could. I'm just playing the odds of you have so many mouths to feed in this offense. I've been saying all year long, the answer to draft is Caleb Williams, not any of these wide receivers. I mean, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden. They draft Colston Loveland with a top 10 pick out of Michigan. They still have Cole Kmet. They'll run a lot of 12 personnel. DeAndre Swift still catches 50 balls plus a year. I mean, it's just I get the hype for Rome Odunze. I still think DJ Moore is the guy. They're using DJ Moore in the backfield, even as a gadget player, and Ben Johnson, how he draws everything up is amazing. But for me, and you get Minnesota's defense, who's a nightmare. But for me, it's like, do I really want to play this roulette wheel of which Chicago Bears wide receiver is going to pop each week, right? That's why I'm like, if you own any of these guys, I try and trade package them for something I know that is volume. And that's just how I look at fantasy football. But for me, DJ Moore is going to be 28 and Rome Odunze is going to be 36 just because it's going to be a roulette wheel. Number 29 is Zay Flowers. The biggest game of the week, man. The Bills versus the Ravens, over under 50.5. AFC Championship possible game here. Zay Flowers was balling out target reception early on in the season last year. Kind of got nicked up, played through injuries the whole year. But now Mark Andrews is back healthy too, and you know who Lamar Jackson's number 1 go-to target is when he's healthy, and that is Mark Andrews. I do not, you can flex Zay. You can, if you need a wide receiver 2 play, I'm okay with that as well because the game is going to be a shootout. But the Bills defense, man, they are back and they are healthy and they are going to be nasty. They have probably the second best trio of corners right behind the Steelers. So Zay Flowers, if you need to throw him out there for a flex, you can. It's a high shootout game. That's the only reason I'd like it. Now, number 32, Deebo Samuel, and why I do not have Terry McLaurin in my top 36 heading into week 1. So Deebo Samuel, the Commanders know this, right? And the depth chart for the Commanders they just released is absolutely crazy with Ja'Cory Crosky married to RB4. I told you guys to temper your expectations with your dynasty trades. I hope you listened, but we'll see how it plays out. So it's Austin Eckler, Chris Rodriguez, and then Ja'Cory Crosky Merritt. But why I don't like Terry McLaurin. So historically in the NFL, over time, so we're playing history here, a 30-plus wide receiver that has held out that long, not been a part of camp, they usually get off to a 4 to 6 week slow start. And you're playing the New York Giants. I know the Giants' front seven is their strength against the run. The pass is their weakness. I just feel like if Terry McLaurin doesn't score like early in the game, kind of like a Cortland Sutton situation, it could get ugly. And I really feel like they're going to game script. Cliff Kingsbury thrives in the screen short passing game, which is what Deebo Samuel's gold mine is made of. Like, that's why they went and got this guy. So I'm not putting Terry McLaurin. He's on my sit-em videos as well. If you watch the wide receiver video, I mean, I'll flex Deebo Samuel if you need, but I'm not starting Terry McLaurin with confidence, even though he has the connection with JD5. It's his first time, having the same coordinator and same quarterback for 2 years straight. I get all of that. I just don't like that he held out, and I don't like how long he was gone. And there's a such thing as being in shape, and there's such thing as football shape, and that is a major, major difference that people do not understand. And number 35 is another big sit-em for me of a guy heavily targeted in fantasy football. And just because it's 1 week doesn't mean, oh my God, Calvin Ridley. You're getting Patrick Surtain. You're getting the Broncos. You're getting the number one defense. You're at Mile High Stadium. Cam Ward's first NFL start. I just do not like it. I think the projection is going to make people start him because they're going to look at their Yahoo or Sleeper or ESPN and see that he's projected high. And I do not think he's going to beat his projection this week. I think it's going to be a really, really tough game here for Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans heading into Denver Broncos Stadium. Bang. Thank you guys for rocking with me today. That is the end of the episode. As always, guys, on your way out, tap that thumbs up button, hit that subscription. I'll be bringing you fantasy football content to help you dominate your leagues all year long. If you guys want to check out and join the Discord, again, that'll be pinned in the comments and in the description. And got to shout out the promo again at the end. Make sure you sign up on Drafters so you can do pick'ems with us, best ball drafts, DFS, everything like that. It will be there this year. It will match your deposit up to $100. You double your money. All the sports appreciated there as well. And my tight end video will come next, then kicker and defenses. Then we'll dive into some smash starts. We'll dive into some sleeper plays. It's a return on investment ideas heading into week 1. That's it for me, guys. Thank you guys for listening. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. Sleazebomb out.